Hey, everybody, it is Kelly Schwartz, and as always, may the Schwartz be with you. We are on tonight. We have two great guests with Trisha Long and Jessica, it's Lamers, correct?
That is correct, yep.
All right, with Modento and Local Med, and they have jumped on to help us better understand how to use Modento in conjunction with Local Med so that you're communicating effectively with your patients in a lot of different ways. I know, for example, many of you in the Northeast got hit by these snowstorms. How do we communicate with the patients that we're closed and how to get them to use Local Med to schedule so that we're opening that up and taking a little burden off your team? That's what the technology will do. And so, Trish is going to be available for questions and take us through some of the key points and main features of Modento to make sure you're getting the most out of it. If you are not already bundled with Dental Intel and Local Med, which like 98% of you are, keep in mind, as a partner of Schwartz Consulting Group, we can add Modento for only $1 a month. And it's not big, but if you're using any of the other services like Flex or any of the other companies, you can stop utilizing them, save that $350 a month per year, and you're getting Modento, which is a better product with more information and more usefulness that will really help you move to that next level. So without any more being said, hey, Jerry, welcome aboard. Jerry's always my last with technology. Gotta love him. I'm going to mute you, Jerry, just so that when you need to unmute. I got you. You're done. Okay. So, Miss Trish, welcome. Thank you so much for sharing with our wonderful teams, and take her away.
All righty. Hi, everyone. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. I'm logged into one of our demo accounts. All right. So what Modento is it's a automated communication service. So how much time we spend as dental professionals, front desk, and the whole gamut, making sure that we get forms done, health histories updated in a timely fashion, getting communications to the patient regarding when they're scheduled for, making sure that that's clear, automating forms, reminders, all of that good stuff. Modento does all that work for you. All you have to do is schedule the patient. And so if you have Local Med, they can schedule through Local Med, and Modento will still see that appointment end up in your dental software, and it'll start picking up communications within 10 minutes. So 10 minutes after, appointment communication can begin for that patient. So once that patient receives their communications, they're going to receive a forms packet. And down here in the Modento dashboard in the settings area, there is forms right here that you can let us know what your new patient should receive and also what your existing patient should receive. So, and what's nice about the existing patient column is that there's multiple forms here. And so there's forms that we can place on, an optional basis frequency to make sure that we're constantly asking that question to the patient to make sure that none of their information has changed. So that's really great for that as well. So for these forms, you can set up all kinds of frequencies for your existing patients to make sure that we're getting those forms updated at a certain interval for whatever you need in the office, health history.
So for example, Trish, health history, if we want the patient to get it every time they're scheduled, if we set it up in Modento, unmuted there. Sorry about that. Anybody who is getting their appointment, when they get the reminder, they would automatically get the health history, correct? At the reminder. Great.
Yeah, so it'll happen a couple of times for the patient for when they first schedule their visit. So the save the date welcome notification that goes out 10 minutes after they've scheduled. And then they'll also receive another forms notification at each appointment reminder if they maybe at the save the date, they didn't have time to fill out that form, we're going to go ahead and confirm that appointment. And then at the reminders, we're going to remind them for any forms that they still have outstanding, into hopes that when they walk through the door, they're ready to be seated.
Great.
So yeah, you could set up your frequencies here, and you could edit these forms. But the nice thing about these forms, they are built to gather all the information that we need from the patients, but you can add in extra questions, things that you might want to personalize those forms a little bit. But these forms will, what's nice is they'll automatically, no matter if the patient's completing these forms at 2 a.m., they're automatically going to be filed into the patient's chart for you, and it's going to update that data for you. So it's going to create medical alerts, like pop-up alerts. So anything they answer yes on, conditions, medications for the health history. And they will also be able to put in that data for the patient's like demographic information and contact information that will automatically update as well.
So one of the questions, and I think you just answered it, is, are the forms automatically pushed into their practice management software, or do they have to scan and pull it in?
Yeah, it's going to be automatically filed for you. Yeah. And what's nice is when you're treatment planning, let's say you want to digitally treatment plan through Modento, or you're sending out consent forms or post-op forms to a patient, as soon as they sign any of those documents, if they have an email address on file, they will automatically receive a copy of those forms.
So, and again, a reminder, make sure you're getting updated emails from everybody. And the other is, make sure you're getting cell phones so we can maximize to be able to text. Many of you in some of your practice management systems are putting the primary number under home phone. We really want to get those numbers under the cell phone using Modento.
Trish, this is very helpful. Just want to put a plug in here. As a previous office manager and operations manager in the dental field, this is about 8 to 10 minutes of your front desk time. And so this will save them that time and have it automatically updated into their system. So that's time that they get back on working outstanding claims and those sort of things that we can't automate at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge time saver. And you wouldn't have to go back and audit charts for health histories, things like that either, because these automations are set up at whatever interval that you're accustomed to needing those updates for. Getting back to appointment communication. So we have the forms, we have automated communications going out immediately after they've scheduled, no matter if it's through local med or front desk scheduling. You could set up your custom confirmations and reminders to go out at whatever intervals work best for your practice. And what's nice about Modento here is, you know, after you get some feedback, after you've had these settings set up for a little bit, if you need to go in and tweak your settings a little bit, you're getting feedback from staff or from patients, what's working best for your practice, you can always come back in here and modify your settings. And then all you just have to do is click save, and that will update that for you. And so you can always, you know, kind of play with that to find the best intervals that work best for your practice.
So Trish, just a simple question. I think I know the answer, but one of the things that I'm a fan of is that we do 30 days out. We just give the patients a reminder that they have an appointment and call if they need to reschedule, but only about 2 weeks out can they actually confirm the appointment. Does Modento allow that option?
Yeah, for a reminder to go out before the confirmation. Is that what you said?
Correct. So the first one, like 30 days from now, I send them a notice. Hey, you got an appointment in 30 days, but 2 weeks out, they can then confirm.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. So how you could do that is right down here under the appointment reminders, you can actually put that as a bigger number before your first confirmation. And that will ensure that they just get a reminder going out before they confirm. So you can have that confirmation go out 14 days before the appointment, and you could have a reminder go out 30 days. And then once we grab that confirmation, another reminder will go out shortly before the appointment, if that's how you would like it set up.
So for those of you who maybe didn't quite catch that, appointment reminders are one-way communication, and confirmation allows the patient to give feedback. right, to confirm their appointment, correct?
It'll
And,
ask for that confirmation. Yeah.
and then do we have the ability to do a 2 hour prior to the appointment text for appointments, say after 10 a.m.? Because some people don't want that 7 a.m. text, right?
Absolutely. So Modento honors quiet hours. So we do not start communications before 9 a.m. and we don't go past 7 p.m. So if somebody is scheduled super early in the morning, they will receive their reminder the evening before. That's just to ensure we're not creating grumpy patients for you getting those earlier, very late messages. Yeah, and you could set up these appointment reminders to days, hours, or even minutes to remind them before their appointment. And you could have up to 4 available there.
Now, I'm newer to Modento as your newest, Modento's the newest to the Dental Intel family. Do we, or are we able to see who got those reminders? Or is it just,
Absolutely.
yeah. So you can
Mhm.
see, so if somebody said, well, I never got a reminder, you could say, well, yeah, you did.
Yep, exactly. So there's a couple different ways you could do that. Under the communication log here, this is basically going to have your entire history of any information that has been passed from Modento to your patients. So you can actually, if you have that occurrence come up, you could come into the automated communication window and just type in that patient's name, and you could have all the communications come up for that specific patient.
Love it.
Mhm. The secondary way you could check that is through the patient's 3-dot menu. So let's say Boy Miller here was coming in and said that he didn't receive any communications. You could check their communication settings, first of all, to see if they may have opted out of something that they weren't expecting to opt out of. And you could also customize different things here for the communication for this patient. Now, the other way you could check that is you can actually look at that patient-specific communication log directly from the patient menu. So you could see everything that has been sent to that patient, what kind of notification it was, when it was exactly sent, and if it was successfully sent or not.
Do the communications from Modento, when I confirm my appointment, it automatically goes into my practice management system, so I don't have to do anything there. But
Correct.
do those notes and communication also transfer over into the activity log within Dental Intel or only in the practice management?
It will go into the activity log in Dental Intel and your practice management software. So
Awesome.
you'll have notes across the board for you. Yeah.
I love that you guys thought of it all.
We try, a lot of dental professional brains behind this, and so we're really striving on, making life easier.
So I'm just looking at this screen because I haven't seen this before, but I saw like future visits. So this is going to show if this patient actually made an appointment and their date and time when we're looking at it.
Correct. Yeah. So this patient screen is going to have your entire database worth of patients where you could search out a specific patient, but you could also use these filters up here at the top to kind of narrow down which patients you would like to focus on. So if you just wanted to maybe pull up anybody in your database that has appointment, you could just check who is scheduled. You could also pull up a specific day on your schedule as well. If you just wanted to maybe text all of the patients that are coming in tomorrow, maybe you have a inclemental weather, you could pull forward tomorrow's schedule, highlight everybody, and then use our mass communications right up here at the top.
And I'm assuming we can customize a, bad weather alert, hurricane closing, because like right now we've got snow and ice. Couple months in the south, we're going to have hurricanes. So we can communicate any of that stuff. If we've got staff out for some reason or another, we can do all that as a one-time kind of thing and then give them a link to reschedule.
Absolutely. Yes. So you could customize text messages and formatted emails under your settings. And what's nice is Modento here, our marketing team is going to create a bunch of content in here for you. So you have the bulk of the email pretty much already created, and then you can kind of edit that just to have that content creation go a little faster for you as well. So you can create that for emails and text.
And again, I know this seems obvious, but we can then just select the people that are on, say, today and tomorrow's schedule only, click their names, and boom, off it goes. We don't have to worry about 3 days yet.
You got it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. I don't want to interrupt your flow, so I can hold it. But yesterday we were talking about Modento and local med, and when we were using dental intel for unscheduled patients, particularly patients that are coming due, right? They're not due yet. They're coming due in 2, 3, 4 weeks or next month. And up until Modento joined the family, we were selecting those patients individually and sending them a link. Hey, you're coming due on this date or above, and they're getting a local med link to schedule. But then after talking with Bree yesterday, Bree suggested that perhaps we let Modento send notification to those that are coming due, and we only work the ones that are past due. So here's my curveball question, Trish. Does Modento have the ability for us to pick the patients that are coming due in the next, say, 60 days that only need treatment?
That only need treatment?
Yes, like say 500 or above, because if you can get this one, I'm your huge biggest fan, because we would like to see who's due in the next 60 days that has $500 or treatment or more. Give them the first chance to fill hygiene. And then after that, we'll send a text to everybody to schedule who doesn't need work, but still is important to our practice.
Absolutely. That is a great,
I'm excited.
That's a great filter list to create in Dental Intel's growth platform. And then what's nice is you can pull that list forward in the patient screen in the filters library here. We have imported Dental Intel search features. So you can create that search in Dental Intel and then pull it forward under your saved searches. Let's say that this was that search, which you can definitely create that. You could pull that search forward and that would pull that list forward so you can use our mass communications to send out that local med link.
So for clarification for everybody who's listening, we would use Patient Finder. We'll give it our own name, let's say the hot 60-day list. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click the parameters for patients who are coming due that need treatment greater than $500. And that's going to be called the hot 60-day list, if you will. Then what Trish is saying is you'll go into here, click that hot 60-day list, and then we'll send them all a local med link to get them scheduled. Woo, drop the mic. We're done.
You got it. So good.
And for those of you who are just joining, I want to, Jessica is our elite coaching partner with Local Med. And so with Modento and Local Med. So whenever you guys have a problem, because you're under the Schwartz umbrella, we have access to the best of the best. I mean, the whole DI Local Med Modento family is awesome, but Jessica is going to be our point person. So if you guys need something, reach out to me. I'll reach out to Jessica, and she'll get the best of the best, like Trish on here, to help us out, because we are here to make you successful.
Absolutely.
So what else great things? I mean, you've already made my night, and we're only a few minutes in. So what else do you have to show us?
Absolutely. So another great tip. Well, we do have an app for staff with Modento. It's called Modento Go. And that is really great to have in your back pocket if you do have something like inclemental weather. You could easily pull up your schedule and access that patient communication. I had an instance when I was working in the dental practice with Modento that we had a power outage. We didn't have our schedule pulled up. We didn't have it printed out with phone numbers, anything like that. And I remembered, oh, I have the app. So I just pulled up my Modento Go and I highlighted all my patients. I was able to send out a message saying that we're closed with a power outage for the day. And so that's a really, really great tool to have in your back pocket, especially if you need to connect with patients over the weekend. You have the chat feature, things like that. So you'll always be able to stay connected, even if you're on the go.
Yeah, and I'll go one a little bit better. We had an office last year was hijacked, held hostage, ransom, pay 10 grand or your software's frozen, and the software was gone. We were at least able to get into Dental Intel and recreate the schedule for the next week, communicate with our patients. We had some rebuilding to do, but we were able to function. So the advantages of having some of this stuff that we're trying to help you with is huge. One of the things I wanted to ask along those lines, Trish, some of our offices have multiple locations, one website, 5 or 6 different offices. Will each location have its own Modento dashboard for that particular patient base? Is that how that works?
Yes, yeah. And you can actually be able to toggle between locations very easily with just one single login. So you can become a group admin at that point. And that way, as you can see here, I can toggle between all of my practices very easily.
Okay. Yesterday, and I'm seeing it on the far left, the rewards program. Now, I'm assuming the doctors pay for the rewards, but you have something built in. So if I want to give everybody who spends $100 a Starbucks card, something of that nature, we purchase the rewards, we assess a value, or do you help us with that, figuring out how points translate to dollars? What's that all about? Because that's brand new to us. I think I like it, but I want to learn more.
Yeah, yeah. Our mobile app and loyalty program. So there is a mobile app for patients. It's a patient portal for them. You would have to activate the app. It's optional to activate. Once you do activate it, you can let your patients know about it. And there is a link that you could share on your social media, websites, anywhere you want that information available. Once they download the Modento app, it's just called Modento in the App Store. They could start utilizing the app. And when they start utilizing the app, they're going to receive points for doing all the things that we want them to do anyway, filling out their forms before their appointment, checking in on time, things like that, referring friends and family. We'll give a certain amount of points to these patients as they kind of utilize the app to the fullest. So right here, you can edit the reward actions and you can modify the point system here. So depending on the type of rewards that you want to give, you could create points and make sure that the points are gonna, like you could see how many points it takes to, you could easily rack up 100 points pretty easily in using the app. So maybe you want to think about that when you're creating your rewards and how much you would like those rewards to cost for the patient. So as they're utilizing the app, you can turn off certain things as being rewarded for points, or you can activate that or up the points. Some offices don't like to utilize the rewards at all, and that's totally fine too. You can still have the app available. Now, what's in the app for patients? They will basically be able to see when they're next scheduled for. If they have a family, they can see their family members' scheduled appointment date and time. They can also update their forms at any time. And they can customize their own reminder system. I know we all have patients that maybe, they're really dedicated to their schedule. They wrote it down. They know when they're coming in for their appointment. They don't want 3 reminders. So they can go in and actually customize that. And that way they can, respect their communication. So they have a little bit control over that communication style. But the rewards, we'll send out a letter typically after the onboarding call that'll kind of give you a lot of these ideas to try to help you build the reward system in your practice. So we'll send out images and ideas that other practices are utilizing to kind of encourage, good patient behavior.
Okay. So I'm seeing treatment plans. So one of the things that we train our teams on is when someone walks out the door and does not schedule at least phase 1 of their treatment, we follow up with traditional mail, an intraoral camera photo and letter to our patients who do not schedule. But it looks like we might be able to do this in Modento in addition to. Now, I want to make sure all of my offices hear this. I do not want to stop the traditional mail, but as an added value, I think what Trish is going to show us is that we can do this in Modento as well. And can we customize the letter, Trish?
So for payment options, so for the
on the I'm sorry, not payment options, on unscheduled treatment. I thought I saw treatment plan. Yeah.
So for unscheduled treatment, that would be through the Dental Intel platform that we can filter out unscheduled treatment. But through Modento here,
So we have to create our unscheduled treatment within Dental Intel. It's not automatic. You're not like pulling people. Okay.
Correct.
So I'm going to place that on hold till we get a little more comfortable.
Okay.
because we have a system for that now. I'm trying to find out where overlaps are, or if there's anything we're doing that's unnecessary that we can automate. So right now I'm gonna place that one on hold. How about on the payments? Now we have DI payment, and again, for those of you who don't, you really need to take a look and reach out to our DI support team to learn what DI payments are about. But are the Modento and the DI payments kind of linked together there as well, Trish?
So the DI payments, you will see any, so no, the Modento has a text to pay service as well if you're integrated with 3 different merchants,
Right.
Apex, Mula, or Stripe. Dental DI payments, that would be purely out of the Dental Intel growth platform.
Okay, and I might have asked out of order here. When I was looking at one of the boxes that you had on screen, I saw payments. So I didn't know if that was you doing automated pay. Yeah, right there. I didn't know
Gotcha.
what that was.
Yeah, so this is if you were to, if you were integrated with if you had one of those merchants, you can use the 3-dot menu, the communication, and you could send a payment request. So this is individual. So you could pull up your balances on this side and pull up anybody with an outstanding balance. And what I utilized this for the most was collecting a payment if the patient forgot their card or forgot their wallet in the car, that kind of thing. They'd walk out after treatment without paying. I would typically send them a payment request. But now that we have DI payments, that's kind of a whole nother wonderful
It's kind
thing.
of an overlap there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here again, for those of you who do not have DI payments but have Modento, you can do this. If you have DI payments, let's use DI payments, because again, I think the processing fee is just a little bit less. But these are the things that the teams are pulling together and will eventually be, all one choice. But these are options to make things easier for you. But I'm a big fan of DI payments. I'm a fan of Modento. So we just want to help you get that money in there one way or the other.
And I just wanted to go look back really quickly. So on DI payments and the DI growth platform, original DI, that one is going to automate potentially 3 follow-ups for you, where this one is just a one single request that you'd have to go and push that out every time. So just a heads up, that's the difference here between those two.
Okay. And for those of you who are wondering, as a client of ours, DI has waived the fee for DI payments. It's free and included if you have Dental Intel. If you have all 3 bundles, don't forget to ask me about adding Call Insight. Trish, I have a question here. Do you have to do anything specific to activate the app for patients without using the reward system?
Yeah, so if you want to activate the mobile app, and let's say you're not interested in utilizing the rewards, you could just activate the app just right here by selecting that and clicking save. It'll have you activate it. And if you did not want to use the rewards, what you can do, what some practices do, is they deselect all of these, just so that they're not accumulating points and the patient might wonder what are these points for. You could deactivate these points from going out to the patient altogether. And then the verbiage, how another wonderful thing about Modento is you can customize how we talk to your patients. So under the verbiage here for the mobile application invite, if you wanted to send out a mobile app invite to everybody introducing that this is available, you would just want to omit some of the verbiage that talks about loyalty and rewards. And we find that a lot of practices utilize that and don't have any issues on, patients wondering where the loyalty program is at. So yeah, you could just make your decision on the back end on what you would like to do and how you would want to utilize that.
So Trish, I know there's a lot of flexibility, and I'm looking at your hygiene recall past due. How do we customize the verbiage on different things that we want to tweak or improve?
Yeah, so right here under verbiage, absolutely all of the automated communications that we perform are all customizable so you can add your own flares to not sound very robotic to your patients. We already have it customized to pull in patient and practice information automatically. But if you were to want to customize things, let's go back to that hygiene recall here. Hygiene recall past due. You can press the little pencil icon, and that's going to take you to the forms editor, or the editor. And it's always going to have this restore to default here, just in case you make some changes and you're not liking how it turned out, you want to revert it back and start over. You'll always have that as a safe bet here, but you can go ahead and customize this to sound exactly how you would like to sound to your patient.
So once we've set that, we can leave it and we don't have to change it every time. And that's
Correct.
pretty much for any form, correct?
Yes, yeah.
And
So
can you pull in your logo as well?
the logos will be on all the forms automatically. And you could actually see that if you were to click on any of these forms here. I'm just going to click on this form, and right down on the lower right hand side, you see a PDF button here where you can see kind of the paper copy. So if you click on that, you know, your tablets and everything are going to be labeled with your logo. We're going to personalize all the Modento like kiosks, things like that. When patients are viewing forms, it's going to have your practice information on there. And so right here, you could see what that looks like at the letterhead. It'll have your practice info and then your practice logo there.
Trish, there's a lot of tablets and things to use. Do you have a preference, what you find works, syncs, and does best with Modento that our clients should be looking at? I know they've gone a couple of different routes. Is there anyone that you guys are kind of a favorite of beyond the iPad, or is it the iPad?
The iPad's great. Just for usability, everybody's pretty much used to an Apple product, but Kindle Fires are really, really popular because they're really cost effective. And, you know, we recommend that it's 10 inches or above, just to make it bigger, a little bigger screen for the patient to have that better visibility, especially if you're treatment planning. It's nice to have one of those bigger tablets.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Kindle Fires all the way. And I'm not sponsored by Amazon.
All right, what other cool stuff do we have?
Yeah, there is another feature here. You know how much time we take at the end of our day doing post-op calls? That could be pretty time consuming. And most of the time, I don't know about you guys, but most of the time I'm getting voicemails. So Modento has come up with a way for us to give them that personal voicemail message, but to be able to do that for more than one person at a time and just get our post-op calls all taken care of in a matter of a couple of clicks. So the way we do that is under settings and practice setup, we have voicemail drops. Now, voicemail drops is an a la carte system, meaning that you would need to purchase credit packages. They range from 12 cents a voicemail to 18 cents a voicemail, depending on the size of package. It's 250 credits, 500, and 1,000 credits. And you can purchase those at any time and keep balances of credits on your account to be able to utilize these voicemail drops if this is something that's going to save you time. Now, right here, you can upload any generic voicemail. So if you want to do restorative post-op calls, just, you know, not saying the patient information, just, you know, your generic post-op spiel, you can upload those here. Or if you want to personally welcome a new patient to the practice, that's another great one. You could have the dentist or the provider record themselves, and you could upload those sound bites here and label them and create a nice library for you to have those personal connections. And then you could go to your patients list. Let's say this was today's schedule. I'm going to, you know, highlight all the patients that I need to leave that specific voicemail for. And right up here, I can, that as long as I'm connecting with more than one patient, it'll highlight the bulk action. That's our mass communications. You could also do this individually as well. I'm going to go ahead and send a voicemail. And I could upload the audio file. I could choose which audio file I want, and then I could send it right away, or I can even schedule that to go out at a specific time. So it's a real huge time saver. It's really popular for post-op calls and then welcoming new patients.
So it's just an automatic voicemail. Like if the person picks up, they're just going to hear a recording, correct?
They can't pick it up. So it's going to ring for a split second, Yeah, it's going to ring
Even
for a
better.
split second, but then it's going to look like they missed a call from the practice phone number. No, that's a great question. So it's going to look like they missed a call from the practice phone number, and then they're going to have that voicemail.
So they're going to be like the rest of us. I don't know how I missed the call. I had my phone on, right? So an example of this for all of you listening in, you know how important it is to me that you do a pre-call. So the minute a new patient calls and makes an appointment, so let's say Jessica calls in, she schedules as a new patient next week. I like to make a care call welcoming her to the practice because that makes you better. If Jessica's shopping and I'm the only doctor who called to welcome her, all of a sudden I'm better. So this voicemail drop would be something like, hey, Dr. Heck, this is Kelly. I just want to say thanks for choosing our practice. We're looking forward to meeting you. For more information, visit our website, and here's our hours. We look forward to seeing you on time. And if our team can do anything to make your visit exceptional, please call us during normal business hours. And that's your saved voicemail drop. And you send that out to your 2, 3, 4 new patients that you have on a daily basis. And again, at 12 cents, only one patient has to listen and show up, and it's worth it.
That's beautiful.
Love it.
All right. So let's see here.
You've given us so much already. I know.
Yeah. We do have inter-office chat through Modento as well. So connecting with your teammates when they're all spread out through the office at different operatories. What's nice is you can